everyone, welcome back to Homestead Corner. Today I want to talk about 10 not so common survival foods. So today I just have 10 items that I think are important to add to your pantries. And I'm not talking about giant, huge supplies of them, but a good amount so you have them available when you need them. A lot of these foods you do not have to cook. You can open and eat them. And there are ways for some of them so you can just eat them without cooking, because I have a lot of people that have commented over the years that they are concerned about cooking in a big emergency where, you know, other people might be able to smell what you're cooking, or you may not be able to get out. You may not have something safe to cook on inside if you have to cook inside. So these items are great because most of them, they don't need any cooking at all, and you can just prepare them in a little bit different way than you normally would. So let's jump in and check out these 10 uncommon survival foods. So the first one I think is jerky. I think it is pretty underrated because a lot of people don't realize that jerky can sit on the shelf for a year or two a lot of times. So we can dry and make our own jerky ourselves, which saves a ton of money, because if you go to the grocery store and buy jerky in a bag, it is quite expensive. But we can take that jerky and you can put it in soups. You can eat it just as jerky. There are a bunch of different things you can do with it. Just soaking it in water will help reduce some of the salt on it, because a lot of jerkies are quite salty. And so you can just rinse it off in water, and soaking it in water is going to help, you know, get it to an easier texture to chew if you had to, or, you know, at least you've got some protein on the shelf. I think jerky is a big one, and a lot of people overlook it because it doesn't seem like it's something that's going to last a long time, but it really will last a couple of years in your pantry. The second thing is MREs. MREs are wonderful to have on the shelf. They can be quite pricey. I have seen them around $20 a piece, between 10 and 20, and that seems like an awful lot for a meal on the shelf. But it's got everything you need in there, and you can totally make your own MREs. You can put your little kits together, vacuum seal them. You can put them in zipper bags, whatever you want to do. You just want to keep them rotated. Your own home MREs are not going to last quite as long as, you know, let's say a military MRE, or you can even get a lot of food kits and things like that, whatever it is. But those things are really important. The MREs, the military ones that you can buy, although they're quite pricey, a lot of them come with a heater inside there. It's got your meats, it's got everything right in there, and you really don't have to do anything to it. You can eat it just the way it is. Obviously, they're a little bit better heated up though. Number 3, spices. I talk a lot about spices. I think they are so important for your pantry. And not only are they going to flavor your food, they can help you with all kinds of medical issues. You can use different spices to lower your blood pressure, to, you know, all kinds of stuff. Lower your cholesterol. There's lots of different foods and lots of different spices that you can use that way that are going to help you with your health and make your food taste better. Spices are one of my top things for my pantry because I think they are so important. When you're digging into your pantry, a lot of those foods are really bland on their own, but you can spice them up a million different ways so it's something different every day. Number 4, freeze-dried food. Freeze-dried food is actually wonderful for emergency situations. It tastes pretty good, and you do not have to cook it. We take like freeze-dried chicken and celery and onions and throw some mayonnaise in it and make a chicken salad. All you have to do is soak it in water. You may have to soak it a little bit longer. Some of the pieces stay hard for quite a while, and you're supposed to boil them. But if you let it sit in water overnight, it is going to be hydrated by morning. And like a lot of the freeze-dried foods, the corn and peas and pineapple, anything like that, your fruits and vegetables, a lot of them, you can just eat them right out of the can. They're actually quite delicious just the way they are. And crunchy pineapple sounds weird, but yum. Oh my goodness. It is a huge favorite in our house. So freeze-dried foods, I think, are great. I know they can be quite pricey, but if you just have some, especially, we like to make sure we have meat, fruits, and vegetables. You can give or take on the other stuff, but those things are really wonderful to have. And in an emergency, just soaking them in water is going to be enough to get them so they're edible for the meats and things like that. And the fruits and veggies, we just munch on them. They're delicious. And number 5, dried fruits. A lot of people think dried fruits and they're like, I don't love dried fruits. Well, dried fruits are wonderful. You can reconstitute them and cook with them. You can, once you put them in things, they're wonderful to add to granolas. You can add them to so many different things, and just opening up a bag of dried apples. They're delicious. They're a great snack, healthy. There's so many good things in your dried fruits. And you can, when fresh fruit is in season, you can dehydrate these things, which will save you a ton of money. Because I know around here, when it's apple picking season, which is coming up, we can get apples really, really inexpensive, and then we can dehydrate them. So we've got dehydrated apples, and it's really affordable and simple to do. And number 6, peanut butter. Peanut butter is a wonderful protein. You can get all different kinds. If you like it crunchy, get crunchy. It's creamy. There's just so many different kinds of peanut butter. And peanut butter, you can scoop it out and eat it with a spoon, crackers, bread, whatever you have, really. You can put peanut butters on anything. My kids dip their fruit in peanut butter. They use it like a dip sometimes. So having peanut butter on the shelf is really good. It's not going to last forever, but it does last well past the best by date on the jar, and it is absolutely wonderful to have in, as long as you're not allergic. But you could replace that with some other nut butters that you can eat. And along with peanut butter, number 7 is nuts. I think nuts are wonderful to have. They are high in fiber. They have all kinds of good nutrition in them. Oils, things like that. They don't last long term, but if you vacuum seal them and put them in the freezer, they are going to last way longer, for a couple of years, and you will have those nuts when you want them. And they are great. You can just open and eat them. They are so good for you, and it is a great, wonderful food to have on the shelf, definitely. And number 8, raw honey. I don't think enough people talk about raw honey. It has so many good properties to it because of the enzymes in it and all of the great stuff. There are traces of pollen in it, because that's how the bees make the honey, is they collect the pollen. And it's just so good to have. It's never going to go bad on the shelf if you're buying real raw honey. It will never go bad on the shelf. Even if it crystallizes or anything like that, you can turn it into creamed honey, which is wonderful on toast or crackers or anything. And you can also get it back to its liquid state by putting it in like a double boiler type situation in a pot of water, and it will melt those crystals down in there. You do not want to boil the honey, because that will destroy a lot of the good enzymes that are in there. Number 9, protein shakes. That little powdered mix, that stuff is wonderful. It doesn't take up a lot of space. For about $20, you can get a pretty big can. There's probably 50 or 60 servings in most of those big cans. And those are great. If you cannot cook, you can just pour a little bit of water in that protein powder, and you have got a good protein supplement. I know a lot of people, when they're sick, can't eat food, they can get the protein shakes down. So it helps keep their protein levels up, and they are really, really important. We like to keep a couple of those jugs of protein powder. I don't necessarily love the flavors of them, but you know, they are wonderful to have, and they will do the trick. If you can't cook, you're not able to cook anything like that in a survival situation, you may not be able to start a fire, or you may not be able to cook in your home. You might not have something safe to cook with. So those protein shakes can be hugely important, and they're going to give you that protein that you need to survive. And number 10, granola bars, protein bars, anything like that, the protein bites, or you can make them yourself, definitely, and they are so much cheaper than the grocery store. We make protein bites and granola and all kinds of stuff, and the protein bites are really easy. You can mix them up really fast, and they're just ready to eat. You don't even have to cook them. Those kind of things are really important to help with the protein and help getting the fiber and all the good nutrients that you need. We add all kinds of stuff to different granola bars. Sometimes we add flaxseed or chia seed or anything like that, which only increases the nutrients when you make it. But I think those granola bars and protein bars are really important because you can just tear them open and eat them. If you're making them yourself, you want to cook them so they're really, really dry and they're going to last longer. But the wet ones, not quite so long. But they are something that you can have in your house, or just the ingredients so you can make up a quick protein bites. Those are really easy to make. They take minutes and they don't have to be cooked most of the time. So protein bites and protein bars are wonderful to really add extra nutrients to your survival food. And that is it for my 10 not so common survival foods that I think should be in your pantries. They are not necessarily the cheapest items or the easiest items, but I think they're really important because they can really add to what you have. And most of these items can just be eaten. You don't have to do anything to them. You don't have to cook them. You can literally open and eat them, which can be another key factor in a survival situation. And that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.